Hey, how are you? Thanks for checking out my video. I was gonna make a video today on a air fried sweet potato, and I got to thinking, because this potato is a monster. It weighs slightly over a pound. When I bought this, I hadn't planned on using it for a video. I always buy big ones in the air fryer. I'm just gonna leave it whole, but it's gigantic. So I got to thinking, I also have some gigantic russet potatoes, and I'm gonna just do one of each. This one is also slightly over a pound, and we're gonna cook them both. I don't know if you've ever done this before, but whenever I make baked potatoes, I always make extras, especially if I'm doing it in the oven. And I have a tendency to, when I'm baking something in the oven, you know, it's like, oh, I've got the oven on, I'm gonna throw some potatoes in there, even if we're not gonna eat potatoes, because leftover baked potatoes make the best fried potatoes. You just let them cool off, throw them in your fridge, and then when you're ready to make your fried potatoes, I peel the skin off and then I dice them up, and they make the best fried potatoes. Since they're both the same size, I thought might as well kill two birds with one stone. I'll make a sweet potato and I'll make a russet potato, and I'll show you the different ways me and my husband like to eat sweet potatoes. So what I'm gonna do is the russet potato, I'm gonna go ahead and put some oil on, because we do like the skin on those. On the sweet potato, we don't eat the skin, but I'm gonna just poke some holes. And I'm going to use a liner in I have kind of a small air fryer, but it's big enough for these two potatoes. So this one, I'm not bothering to put any oil on it because we're not gonna eat the skin, so it's fine just the way it is. And this one, oiled it up. I do like the skin on a russet potato. And we're gonna set it for 400 degrees for 20 minutes, and then we're gonna flip it and put them in for another 20 minutes and see how close it is to being done. They're so huge, I'm not positive they'll be done in 40 minutes, but we will check and see. So I'm gonna put them in now, 400, 20 minutes, which I already programmed this before. Well, I thought I did. 20 minutes. There we go. 20 minutes, 400 degrees, and then we will flip it, and then we'll see if they're done at 40 minutes. Okay, so it's been 20 minutes, so I'm gonna just flip the potatoes. And I'm just guessing, but I don't think they're gonna be done at 40 minutes. I gotta put them on 20 minutes again, but I don't think they're gonna be ready, and the reason why I don't think so is because they still feel really hard, and that size potato in the oven would take at least an hour and 15 minutes. I shouldn't have bought such jumbo ones, but I like big ones because I can split it, half for my husband, half for me. And also when I'm peeling potatoes for like mashed potatoes, I hate peeling a bunch of little tiny potatoes, so I always buy the real big ones. But anyway, I wanted to talk about this air fryer. I had gotten an air fryer when air fryers first came out, like years ago, and it was a real big one. And I was like, oh my God, where am I gonna put this thing? You know, it's like takes up so much space. And at that time, I guess I wasn't thinking so much of how handy it is for making small things. I was just like, I used it a few times and I'm like, I could just use my oven, you know, why do I want to bother with this thing? But I think the main thing I didn't like about it was how big it was. And in my mind, I have a big oven. I can use it just as easy as I can use this big air fryer. But now I have this small air fryer, and it is super handy for like warming up, say, some leftover pizza. You can throw a couple pieces in there, and it does a much better job than the microwave for sure. It's good for warming up French fries. And my husband has this sandwich that he likes. We go to Chick-fil-A every now and then, and he had gotten one of these chicken sandwiches that was called I can't remember what it was called, but it had pimento cheese on it, and he fell in love with it. And then we went there another time, and they didn't have it. It's a seasonal thing, so I decided to try to make one for him myself, and now I make it for him all the time. And this comes in super handy for that, because I just buy chicken patties, Tyson chicken patties, and I can throw it in the microwave for about a minute just to take the hard frost off of it, and then I throw it in here, and in like 5 minutes it's done. And then I throw the pimento cheese on top of it, and I put it back in for like 2 minutes, and it gets it bubbly and brown, and he just, it's one of his favorite things. He loves this sandwich. So I make that all the time. I've made, one night I was cooking dinner, something, a one pot meal, and I was like, oh, I should have made some cornbread. Cornbread sounds really good. So I said, I'm gonna see if I can throw that together real quick and put it in the air fryer. So what I did is I had these silicone muffin cups. It was like a full-size one, and it didn't fit in here. So I cut it in half, and I made some Jiffy cornbread mix, and I threw it in here, and by golly, I had that done in time for dinner. And I think it took something like 6 or 7 minutes, and I had fresh cornbread muffins. So that was super handy. I've made a lot of potatoes in here, baked potatoes, baked sweet potatoes. So it's really good when you're cooking for two, because, you know, my oven takes, I don't know, anywhere between 10 to 15 minutes to warm up, depending on how hot you want it to get. And if you're just trying to throw something together really quick, you know, sometimes you don't want to deal with waiting for the oven to heat up. This thing heats up in no time flat. So anyway, it has turned out to be a really good purchase. It was inexpensive. I think I paid $50 for it, maybe. It's not even any great brand name or whatever. In fact, I don't even think they have it on Amazon anymore. That's where I bought it. But then when I looked again to see if it was still there, it's like it was gone. So I don't know why. But it works great. I almost always use liners though. And I forgot to mention that you for sure want to use a liner when you bake a sweet potato, because sweet potatoes, especially when you prick them with a fork, they ooze this kind of like brown syrupy stuff, which is the sugar coming out of the potato. So you definitely want to, I like to be tidy. I don't like to have to clean the air fryer with goop and, you know, sugary mess in there. So you put a liner in there, and all you got to do, you know, I've had this thing for probably 6 months now. I use a liner every time, and I've barely had to do anything except give it a little wipe on the inside. So the liners I really like, and I will put a link to the liners down in the description if you're interested in getting them, because they're super handy. If when that 14 minutes is up and they're not done, I'm gonna put them in for probably another 10, and then we'll come back and I'll see you then. Okay, our potatoes are done, and they ended up taking a full hour because they're so gigantic. Like I said, they're both over a pound. So they're done. I'm gonna show you how we like to do our sweet potatoes. So if you cut it in half, ouch. Ooh. Okay, so me, I'm simple. I like butter and salt and pepper. That's how I like it. Now my husband, you know, a lot of people like to put marshmallows on sweet potatoes, but I don't like that. My husband would probably eat that, but usually what we do for him is we just put butter, and then on mine, of course, I gotta have some salt and pepper. kind of a lot so that it tastes good. And I usually like to get in there and make sure that the salt and pepper get down a little bit into it, and then I put a little bit more salt and pepper on top. So that's mine. So his, I don't know if you grew up like me eating what we called cinnamon toast, which is just buttered toast with cinnamon and sugar on it. Well, I still like to eat that occasionally, and so what I have a little shaker here that has cinnamon and sugar in it, and for my husband's potato, of course I put a good chunk of butter on there, and it's gonna be salt, pepper, and cinnamon and sugar. That's the way he likes it. And same as me, he likes it to get all the way down into the potato, so I give it a little bit of a mash. And then I put a little more salt, a little more pepper, a little more cinnamon and sugar, and he loves that. So there you go, that's his, this is mine. I think we're just gonna have a dinner of potatoes tonight. Why not? It's easy. So I'm gonna dress the, not Idaho, they're actually russets with sour cream and butter. Can't beat that. Sounds like a good dinner to me. 2 different kinds of potatoes. I mean, it's a little high on the carbs, but there's worse things you could eat. Okay, need some more butter. And my husband loves a lot of sour cream on his. I mean a lot. I like quite a bit myself. Okay, so once again, heavy on the salt and pepper. So there you have it. There's mine, sweet potato with butter, salt, and pepper, and a baked potato with butter and sour cream. And my husband's butter and sour cream on his russet, and butter, salt, pepper, and cinnamon and sugar on his sweet potato. So anyway, the video was meant to show you how to use the air fryer for potatoes. You know, being that these potatoes were so gigantic, it might not have been the best way. I could have made them in the oven. It would have taken another probably 15 minutes in the oven, but what I normally do when I have a potato that big is slice it in half, put it like on a flat surface and put it face down. And I could have done that if I was just cooking one. I could have done that. Take the potato, well, that's too hot to show you, but take the potato, cut it in half, and put each half in there and do it that way. And they probably would have cooked in half the time, but I wanted to make both kinds of potatoes. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and let me know what you're doing. If you're using your air fryer and having some great success, leave me a note in the comments. Let me know what you've been making. And do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. It's free for you, and it helps me to be able to make more videos. And have a great day, and thanks for stopping by to check out my video. Take care.